even though this is a small event, right, when we did this movie, Black Creek, it was such a labor of love. I mean, everybody became such a family. I mean, every one of these guys on my film here is priceless. We couldn't have done this film without them. And just to see the support to come here to this event, it just shows like the love that we have for this project. So, yeah, so we'll open up, Rich, do you want to say anything?
So there were probably about 7 or 8 countries represented, and this was a fan-driven film, which is the most beautiful thing about it. So all the people here mostly are fans who came in not only to help fund the film through our crowdfunding campaign, but they became part of the film. And they're not just background characters. There are a lot of fresh faces on film. These guys brought it. And one of the things that I guess I enjoyed the most on the set is every time we walked into the room in the back or the staging area, only smiles in there. And it was this energy on the set that was second to none because of the fans. Usually, you know, making a film is very stressful, especially on the schedule we had. Shooting at night till 3 o'clock in the morning and getting up and doing it again. A lot of the scenes were at night.
Or 5 o'clock in the morning.
It got cold. It got cold. And I remember second night, I mean, it was frigid out. And you're thinking you're in the desert and it's nice. Not November, it's not. In Arizona, and the wind is kicking through. And, you know, when you're filming, it could take 3 or 4 hours to film the scene. And they got to stay in the same spot. And these guys are standing there. And I walked up, I said, "Are you guys okay?" We're not going anywhere. And then the smiles came across the face. So like, we're standing here for Cynthia. We're standing here for this film. We'll stay here all night if we have to. We're going to make this film. This film's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and I had the brilliant idea. I wanted a lot of night shooting because I wanted that creepy lantern look, you know, the glow from nighttime, the dust and everything coming in. But then we realized, well, it's freezing, right? We actually, Richard Norton and I, he plays the bad guy, had our fight scene, and I was literally like on the ground waiting for them to call action, and my legs were like this shaking because it was so cold, you know, and your muscles tighten up, right? And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, why did we do this at night? Everybody's freezing, right? And you don't have like big polar jackets on, you just have little Western wear clothes on. And when we saw the footage, we were like, yes, that's why we did it at night, because it looks awesome. And we'll have, we just finished our trailer, and we'll probably release the trailer maybe in June on YouTube channel. We'll have a premiere so you guys can check that out. But yeah, if anybody open up to questions, any of the cast you have to ask, go right ahead.
So, what opportunities did the Western setting create for action and the use of martial arts?
Well, you know, when Robert and I, Robert said, you know, you should do your own movie. I've done 70 movies. He goes, it's finally time to do your own, right? And he was like, okay, let's just start. Let's start writing it. He goes, okay, what kind of movie do you want to do? And I said, a Western. And he's like, a Western? Why do you...
Well, that's because I had an idea for like a China O'Brien 3 type scenario. I'm thinking, oh yeah, it's going to be this. We have all these things. And then she said, I want to do a Western. I went, okay, well, there goes the car chase, but
in the 1800s,
horses.
Yes, horses. In the 1800s. So this movie takes place in the 1800s. So not can you just wear your clothes. Every single person had to have 1800 compatible clothing, which, you know, to do. And we were so blessed. A lot of people got their own clothing, right? Because we did this on like a very small budget. And they would send us pictures and saying, how is this? Yes, this is good, this isn't. And then we went around. We actually did most of the costuming, of picking out all the costumes. And we had someone there that was on set to do it. But the reason it was the Western is because, you know, I always liked like Annie Oakley or female gunslinger, and there's not too many of them. And I was like, that's what I want to do. When I watched Yellowstone, and I loved it. I just went nuts over Yellowstone, and I said, that's what I want to do, a dark, gritty movie. Not happy, not fun, just very real and very gritty. So we just started writing it, and we looked on locations. We looked at Mescal Ranch, and that's where we shot it. And that's where Tombstone was shot. That's where Outlaw Josie Wales, The Quick and the Dead, so iconic Westerns. And we picked that because we didn't have to go anywhere. They have the whole town. You know, we had to, like, you know, build sets and build a corral up there, which now it was such a nice corral that we had, it's like an octagon, that it became part of
It's a
Mescal Ranch.
fighting arena, yeah.
It's a fighting arena, that they're keeping it there now forever, so that is there, and, the issues that we came up with, though, is that Mescal Ranch has no running water, and they have no electricity. So we had to bring in all these generators, our big budget, part of it went to bringing in all these generators and bringing in water and porta potties and, trailers for
All the
that.
infrastructure, had to
But
be brought in.
if, we look at it again, it was the perfect place for us to shoot, because it just fit everything that we needed, like in the script.
Well, one of the things I want to share is just that when we first got on set for the location shoot, we went into, it's a hotel, and you'll see it in the Outlaw Josie Wales. It's also the bedroom where Val Kilmer was in Tombstone, so Doc Holliday's bedroom. She gets up there, she walks in, sees this porch, and she goes, I want to kick a guy through that. And so that was like the epic scene, one of them in the movie. She sidekicks a guy through double French doors, through porch railing, and she said, I want to film it where he's all, coming all the way to the ground. So this stunt guy went off that roof, and it was a huge setup that day. It looked like we had cranes and lighting equipment and all this rigging all around that to get that scene, and it is amazing. Those 2, seconds or whatever of footage, the amount of the hours that went into that, but that was her vision, is to have these amazing, and that's what it afforded us. And the beauty of Mescal is they said, Cynthia Rothrock's coming here. Here's the keys to the castle. You can break or blow up anything as long as you just put it back when you're done.
And so then that was like the big, when I saw that, I said, oh no, I want to kick someone through these doors, glass go, he breaks the banister, go down, right? When we get there, there's no banister on it, the banister is off, and they're like, oh, we couldn't get the glass, we didn't have enough money to get the glass on time to break it, so we're going to cut that. Oh, no, you're not. That's in my mind, right? So we put the glass in the CGI. We did break the doors. We have them.
No, they put sugar glass.
They did?
Yeah. They built special.
Oh, yeah, that's
doors.
right. They did put it in. It was the
one
other
take
scene. And again, this was a one-take thing, but it looks awesome. And then my second vision is that I wanted to fight one of the guys with a pitchfork, right? And I thought they're standing there and we'll do pitchfork, kind of like tiger fork and kung fu or something, want to do pitchfork. Well, 3 months before we were shooting, we're telling the special effects guy, you need to build us a pitchfork that looks real, 1800 compatible, that we can fight with. Oh, no problem, we can do it. So we get to the set to shoot the scene, there's no pitchfork.
Well, no, there's a pitchfork.
No, he brought that the second day.
Yeah.
He brought it the second day. So
A real one.
no, he brings this one. It looked like a kindergarten person did it. If we show you the pictures, we should put it on the bloopers. It was all bent out of foam and stuff. So my stunt coordinator, I said, let's just use the real pitchfork. Because he's going, we got to cut the pitchfork. I'm like, no, that's my opening scene. I have the pitchfork. We're going to do it. Well, my stunt coordinator, Mike Moeller from Germany, says, no, we're going to do it. It's too dangerous to fight with a real pitchfork. I said, I could do it. I said, we all said we could do it. And they're like, okay, so when you see it, we're fighting like with a real pitchfork. Heavy, razor sharp pitchfork. But we did it, and so it was, sometimes you have this vision, what you really want in the film, and every vision that I had, Keith, come on up here, every vision that I had, the big ones, they were like, no, we can't do that on set, so, but we did it. Yeah, grab a seat.
Here you go, right?
Yeah.
That's good.
And then this movie has the most action stars in it. So everybody fights. Everybody does like a lot of fighting in it, and we haven't seen that before. Usually when you see a Western, you see 1-2 punch brawl, and that's it. But here, we have Keith Cook is in it and fighting Richard Norton. We have Benny the Jet Urquidez, Keith Vitali, we have Marcus Taylor, so all martial artists in it. And you'll see cameos of other people, and like Jan is a martial everybody here is a martial artist. Even Marlon was in it. Marlon is the town drunk, and you see him puking, coming out of the bar puking, so we gave him the best part. And Elon gets scalped. So, Yeah,
You just-
and it was
You
funny
can be up
because,
in a ring.
and then, Doug is cavalry, so we have all this cavalry people coming in, because we had, I think on the first 3 days, we had 150 people on set, which is huge for a small little film. And we're like, okay, you're gonna ride horses, and like half the people were like, I've never been on a horse, like, okay, you're gonna learn right now in 2 minutes, and you're gonna ride into the scene, so.
And it looks epic.
It looks yeah, everything came out.
You just reminded me. So how's Black Creek compared to another Western you did, Millionaire's Express? Because that's how, the way you just described it reminded me
It's
of,
a very weird movie.
Yeah.
It's like Richard Norton and I were cavalry from the United States in this
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't a typical Western.
Yeah.
It was like a HongOng version of.
It's like Samuel's-
10% of what a Western is.
Yeah.
But this is all authentic Western, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we researched everything as best we could. Have it like, you know,
Yeah.
even to the hats, you know, even that everybody's hat is legitimate.
And one of the challenges, you know, when she said, I want to do Western, that sounds like an awesome idea. And I'm thinking, how no one has ever really successfully blended martial arts with a Western too well. They're usually two different.
Yeah.
It's like oil
That's
and
why-
water, but
yeah.
Beautifully.
that's why
done.
Millen Express is the closest it ever
man.
got
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, but they're usually comedies. That's the thing. This is a
Yeah.
gritty,
Very
hard,
dark.
you know,
Yeah.
it's hard hitting, and it's done well. You know, bringing in the fighting arena gave us that opportunity, and then having gunplay with the martial arts and having that. So our world, it's a graphic novel. It's an over the top a little bit. So it's not a true historic one, but it's our vision of the West.
So it's serious. There's no comedy or nothing.
It's more like the Clint Eastwood version of comedy, or somebody blows up.
There's like a couple of one-liners here and there, but yeah,
Right.
it's pretty dark. It's bloody, it's brutal, you know, and
Yeah.
that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted, you know. And then each day we come in, I think it's something more brutal, you know, to go, you know. And
Right.
I'm not going to spoil it, but Eliza dies in this, and she dies in a very unique way. I'm not going to tell you how. And she read the script, and I met Eliza, and I saw her work, and I said, she's perfect to play my sister, right? And I wanted her right from the start. So I called her, and I said, I want you to play this part. And she read the script, and she only got halfway. And she called me and said, oh my God, I'm crying, it's so good. I'm like, did you read the ending? She goes, no.
I really thought all the way to the end that I was going to live, man.
The question I got, I believe in soundtracks in film. So what all is going to go on the soundtrack for Black?
Oh, you know, like I said, this has been a blessing. Everything has fallen in place. So we get contacted, like one of our backers does music, Mark Shear, and he said, my team and I would love to do the music in exchange to be an executive producer. And we're like, and we listen to the music, we're going, oh my God, that's phenomenal. He goes, oh yeah, and I want to tell you, Jim Peterick, you know, he's my friend, he wants to do the main song. Jim Peterick is from Survivor. He wrote Eye of the Tiger. So he wrote our theme song, and we're going, oh my God, he's doing that for us. And we're watching an interview that Jim Peterick is doing, and he's going, yeah, I did soundtracks for movies. I did Rocky, and I did Black Creek.
Now,
Yeah.
I've always been a firm believer in soundtracks because I truly believe if you really sit down and think about classic film, a soundtrack lifts a movie tenfold. And
Well-
if the sound, even the score, if it's
Yeah.
not right, it just doesn't work.
We have on that team is also Benji Gaithier, and he's in Nashville. He's got all the session musicians, so we've got everything at our disposal to make an original soundtrack for this movie. It's written for the scenes, and then we have this epic theme song. Now, Jim Peterick's also written, I think 8 or 9 of 38 Specials' top number 1 songs.
Wow.
Okay.
This guy, and he wrote, you know, Eye of the Tiger. That's the number 1 most.
He's still performing, He's still performing,
Yeah.
yeah. And when I heard it, it's like, She Scares Me, is that the title of it, right? It's like, so, it fits so good, so we're gonna probably have that somewhere at the ending or something like that. But also, I got contacted by, who was that? The rappers that wanted to do the music?
Wu-Tang
Oh,
Clan.
I would have done it already.
The RZA.
Yes, right? But the problem is they wanted to use their music, right? But Jim Peterick wrote this song specifically for us, and it wasn't anywhere. So when you're doing music for movies, especially like our target is like Netflix, right? You can't have music that isn't like that would be rights to this person or this person, and they will flag it right away. So we couldn't use it. But yeah, they were sending us all this nice going, oh, okay, can we find like some kind of like rap song that goes in a 1890s Western, you know?
It's like the rock songs going in A Knight's Tale.
Yeah.
And like when you first watch that movie, you're just like, okay, I don't get it. But by the end of the movie, you're like, wait a minute. Okay, now I get it. It makes sense, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we got that whiskey bar.
Yeah, and
Bluesy.
we had this one scene, you know, where I'm going through this like hallucinant thing, and I liked White Rabbit, you know, that music, and I was like, I want something like that. Well, this band, Mark Leno, they did a cover of White Rabbit, completely different and stuff. And they're like, yes, you could use it, you know, blah, blah, blah. Well, we can't because, again, like Netflix wouldn't take it because it goes to Jefferson Airplane or whoever owns this or that, so we couldn't use it. But I kind of wanted to use, there's a lot of songs I wanted to use, but
I mean, you can get rights for it, but we're talking hundreds of
yeah,
thousands of
right.
dollars
More than our budget of the film.
Yeah.
Soundtracks don't matter that much.
Well, I really believe part of the success of Enter the Dragon is the soundtrack. Little Schiffrin soundtrack. That was like a really good
example.
example.
Just for a second, but you said soundtracks don't mean that much, and this is coming from the person from Mortal Kombat. Like, come on, guys! Every one of us probably has that in our workout right now.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting to know, like on a movie like Mortal Kombat, how much did the soundtrack cost them compared to what the total budget was?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's where you go wrong on a movie like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, screenwriting question, I guess. When you were writing it, did you think we've got to figure out a way to have all these people in an old Western setting knowing Asian martial arts, or you're just that everybody just knows it?
Well, one of the things was blending in the antagonist. So the antagonist, obviously we want somebody nuts.
Right.
Richard Norton, crazy. But he has aspirations. He thinks he's like a Roman emperor. So then we can bring in this gladiatorial element into the West where people fight, and they do have those skills. So it worked out, and there's still some fisticuff, but a lot of it it's involved in the feet. So there's this element new, this kicking that's in the West in our versions.
And this is how I thought about it, because, martial arts goes back to when? I don't even know, BC or something, so long ago, right? And you had, back in that, it was like gold rush time, right? So you got people from all over the world coming in, right? You have like the Chinese working on the railroads, they, know it, this and that.
Why
So-
Kane? Come on.
Yeah, right. So we didn't really explain it, right? We just said, no, people know it, it's that time, right? And it was funny because when I wrote Don Wilson, right, wrote the part again specifically for him, we had him in mind for this part, and he's like, well, how are you going to do that? Because there weren't any kung fu schools then, or martial arts schools in the West. I'm like, Don, people knew that back then. So, but we are doing the graphic novel, right? So we're doing the graphic novel, and the three of us are working on it, and we're doing backstories, like how did I learn martial arts? What's the story behind it? It'll be in the graphic novel. So some of the things that maybe you might have said, hey, well, what about it? You'll see it in
And that
the
actually
graphic
came
novel.
from fans on the set, because they got the script, so they're going through every line. Wait a minute, there was a line in there where it says, Don's character, he says, you seem like you had a good master. Who is our master? And we're going, oh, we never thought about this. And the backstory. So a lot of that was fan driven, because you guys really bring that element of what else is there in this universe. So there is that backstory that we're bringing.
Because I'm a big history buff, and it's only come out recently that Savate was actually very popular in the 19th century. And it's even in a John Wayne movie, The Fighting Kentucky, and there's this little French guy going around kickboxing people. And it's like, so it's been kind of buried in history that Savate was this popular.
So
We kind of foreseen it like John Wick, kind of, like some of it. But unfortunately, our budget was like probably not even his per diem.
Catering
So,
bills.
we can do that in the comic book. Like I told Marlon, I said, Marlon, now this comic book is in our mind. Let's pretend that we had all the money in the world to shoot this, and this is how we would have done it. So now we have that part as well. But we're already writing the second one because we think this is going to go really good, and we're hoping that people see the budget and the 14 days shooting that we did. What we did for it, it's like incredible, right? You guys saw like the trailer. It does not look like that. It doesn't look like a very inexpensive martial art movie that's like just put together. I mean, it really looks good, and I think it's just our team. Our team brought it on, and like someone said to me, well, your movie's not going to be so good because you have one of our biggest perks was you could be in a fight scene or you could be in a role, right? People did phenomenal. They just did phenomenal. We did things online where we went through the screenwriting. People that had major roles that didn't have like acting experience, we'd have them work with coaches and stuff, and some of the people that we were a little worried about, like going, oh, I hope they can pull that off, we had people look at it and go, wow, that's a fantastic job, so everybody just brought it on, and I think it was magic, right? That's all I can say is that this whole thing was magic, that it just came on, and this guy, Chris and Jack, like they helped us phenomenally, like doing PA work, and he did such a phenomenal job directing everybody, taking care of this and that. He never did it before. Everybody thought he was like that. We had the biggest pro on set,
He's
right?
professional.
Yeah. I mean, it's just good, and I think that all good things are going to happen, like for everybody. So
and one of the other elements in here is we have a lot of fresh faces because all these martial artists, they're all trained, they know what they're doing, and bringing that to the screen too. But their acting rose to that level too. There's the one guy, he's one of the henchmen, and he just has he's like, oh, I wish I had a dagger in that. I go, no, you look like a serial killer in that. He's like, he just has this like no expression on his face, walks over, kills somebody, and then walks back. I'm like, no, that was perfect. You can't even like. And all the people really came through. And then there was a scene in stunt, and he did his own stunt. He's all burned and everything, and comes. But I walked in. I go, "Where's the stunt guys?" And I went, "What? He's doing the stunt," and he did. One of the backers jumped off, and
so he was one of our backers, and we put him in this part. And I said, "You're gonna love this." I said, "Because I would love it." I said, "You're gonna come down, and you're gonna jump off of this balcony on top of me. We have a little fight. I run out, it gets blown up, and you're gonna come out all burnt and smoldering and get killed." And he's like, "Oh, I love it." And I was like, "How cool is that?" Because we did have a great special effects guy. He was great, and so he
we also have a lot of practical effects in the movie. So a lot of the things that you're seeing there's not CGI. It's enhanced a little bit with some compositing, but a lot of it, blood and all those things are all real on the set. So blood everywhere. It gets pretty bloody.
One thing to speak on this whole group.
And Ron, you should be up here.
I know.
Yes, Ron, get up here.
One thing I want to speak on this whole group. Josh and I helped put this show on, and for the simple fact that Black Creek was a big part. I went down and helped film a little bit when I was down there, just some extra work and stuff like that. But family, this is the big thing I could say, family. And I say that because you have people from all over the world sitting up here on this stage right now. You got people from Greece, Australia, UK, all over. And they came together for the simple fact of Black Creek. And when you have a family behind something, it means a lot more to a lot more people. And passion builds quality. That's the best thing I can say. Passion builds.
Black Creek family page, I think there's 90 people on it, right? Mm-hmm. And everybody just stays together and talks, and I think everybody here, I know everybody here has made lasting friendships. And
A lasting friendship.
Yeah. Yeah.
This man right here and I were just talking about it. He's
Yeah.
like, he goes, "You're 45?" I go, "Yeah, I'm 45." I thought I was his age. I was like, "Yes."
Nobody on this movie looks their age. Like, I was wrong about everybody by at least a decade the whole time. That's what martial arts do. That's it.
So you all just met like on this Black Creek project? Pretty much, most of you?
Those three, right? Those four in the center knew each other
From before.
Yeah, Cynthia, Robert, Keith, and Marlon. But everybody else, I don't know the
Yeah.
storylines behind it. But I think we pretty much all met on
Well, we
that.
had
So
met,
is
like
this
I-
project.
Like Chris, I did a seminar in Australia. He's from Australia. And we were talking, and I said, "Yeah, you know, you should come and be in the movie." And I'm thinking, oh, he's thinking, I'm not gonna come. He's coming from Australia. But we had how many people come from Australia? Four. Yeah.
Are you counting the little girl?
And the little girl too. Yeah, 4 people in it, and then we had a couple people from England, and we had Serbia, and where else do we have? We had Switzerland, Germany. Our stunt team came from Germany. I'm from Kentucky. Yeah.
Close enough.
Yeah, and Mike Muller, he's done work on Stallone's movies, on John Wick, you know, and he came as a favor, brought his stunt team. We brought a Swiss stunt team, so I had like 8 people coming from Europe, you know, and because I really, you know, I didn't want this to look like every other movie, the same action, same choreography. I wanted it to be different, you know, so we brought them all in from Europe, and I wanted Mike to fight me. And he didn't want to fight. He goes, "No, I don't want to fight." He goes, let me just choreograph, right? And I was like, oh, I wanted to fight him because like I knew we would have had a really good fight together. And when we showed him the trailer, he's like, "Oh, I should have fought in it. I should have," because I didn't know it was going to be this good. He goes, "I'm fighting in the sequel." Right?
So
he
who-
goes, "Oh, that's the quote of the century. I didn't know it was going to be this good."
So who did you fight?
Huh?
Who did you fight?
Who do I
And-
fight?
Yeah.
I fight Richard Norton. I fight Marcus Taylor. I fight Chris. I fight Alpamini.
Wow.
Who else? Anybody else here?
Benny Urquidez? Did you
No,
fight?
I don't fight Benny. The cool thing about Benny and Keith Vitali fight.
Yeah.
They are 2 champions.
Yeah.
Real kickboxing champions.
Who fought each other for real.
Action stars that fought each other for real, and they loved it. They said, "This is so amazing, bringing us back together." You know,
Since Wheels on
to fight
Meals.
my sister. Yeah.
Because they were in Wheels on Meals, but they didn't fight. They were friends
Yeah,
on Wheels.
exactly.
Now they
and
fight.
After so many years,
Yeah.
you know, they did it, you know.
30 years.
And it's funny because, you know, a lot of us aren't that young. I mean, we are in our
No, 40
but,
years.
You know, some of the major players, and someone said to me, "Aren't you worried that someone's going to get hurt?" And I'm like, "No, I mean, everybody is in phenomenal shape and could do just as good, you know." And that's what I love, you know. And I think, you know, once in a while, like, I'm really strong on Facebook and I answer everybody and I read everything and I say, "Oh, that's a bunch of old people on there." Like, wasn't that guy dead or something like that? And I'm like, you know what? You could go against these guys right now and they would like kick your ass, you know? And it's like, once in a while it gets offensive, but you know, I hope this is good, you know, because it's kind of like the Expendables, right, of martial arts, but people can fight. This guy here, right, he's going to be in the sequel doing a lot more fighting, right, because he really had a big acting role, and it was, he did, you know, honestly, everybody here that was in it, I couldn't say I wish I had someone else to play that part, right? They just brought it on. Wait till you see his acting. I mean, yeah, it's so phenomenal. So he's gonna be a different character, a whole different look in the sequel, right? And do a lot of fighting because, and you know, it's good because you know people was like, "Oh my God, Keith can kick like that," and this, I'm like, "Yeah," you know. So
Well, some of the accomplishments of this film are. You know, it's the second most funded action film of all time on Kickstarter. The graphic novel was a huge success, surpassed all the goals there. We have Richard Norton, Keith Cook, and Cynthia back together since China O'Brien. Plus, sprinkle in Don the Dragon Wilson, Benny Urquidez, Keith Vitali. We have all these amazing fans who became an integral part of the movie and brought their energy and their talent to this. We have all of these elements together and all these firsts, you know, just there. Plus, how many movies can you name where there's a female gunslinging lead? One.
yeah.
We
can only
We
think
were
there's-
Googling it.
often,
We were
it's
Googling
always
it,
the
and
guy.
Selma Hayek come up. They were like, Selma
I can
Hayek.
only do that's the only one I can think of as quick as Walking the Dead. That's it.
Yeah.
But still,
But that
who's
really
bigger
could
on the
fight.
poster?
But they
Gene
could
Hackman.
really fight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Still
she,
Gene Hackman.
yeah, she had some actors that was definitely carrying her along.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they still on the poster made him bigger than her.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's like they never
Yeah.
make the woman
Yeah.
top tier.
I got one question, and this is just because it's kind of curious, but what would you consider your most successful path in the Kickstarting program? Like, how do you think once you launched it, was it the fan base for you, Cynthia, that just came running?
Yeah, yeah, and it's
Okay.
funny because Kickstarter says Facebook is your lowest people
Percentage.
that would come in on it, right?
Yeah.
The number one is Kickstarter, right? And they tell you how many people came in from this, how many people came in from that, and our majority was from Facebook. And you know what's funny is after we did this, so many people want to do Kickstarter program. Oh my God, Cynthia raised all this money. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. And like I've known 3 people that didn't even make their goal. You know, because on Kickstarter, if you don't make your goal, you get nothing. They don't give you anything. And you know, they canceled it early, and it's not easy. It's not easy. You know, and I'm not gonna name any names, but there's a famous martial art actor that did a Indiegogo campaign, and he only raised $32,000. He was asking for $1 million, and everybody kept coming up to me saying, "Oh, you're gonna do a Kickstarter program? Well, you know, so-and-so only raised 32. Why do you think you're gonna raise this much money?" So it started scaring me, you know, going, "Oh yeah, you're right," you know, and I tell people going, "Yeah," and they go, "But you're not that person, you're you." So, you know, it's just like,
In
yeah.
6
we're
days,
going for it. Yeah.
she blew the first goal out of the water and quadrupled it by the end of the campaign.
Yeah. So it, you know, it's
Do you guys have the ability to track where most of your
Yeah, it was Facebook.
Yeah,
but what
this
country?
But this is what I want to say, because I spent a lot of time, I was on set for 2.5 weeks, and when I wasn't on camera, I was talking to everybody, because I like people.
Okay.
And the real reason, it doesn't matter if it's Facebook or where, it's Cynthia.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Every single person I spoke with was there because I wanted to do this for Cynthia.
Yeah.
And you are truly the sole reason that everybody has come together.
Yeah.
There's so much good energy from you.
oh, thank you. And we went down. Right? We went down to the last penny, and we're like, "Oh my God, nothing else can happen." And we needed Keith for a couple more days, right? And I was like, "Oh my God," I'm like, "Keith, can we use you for a couple more days?" I said, "We don't have any money to pay you, but I'll pay you know, your airfare back," which was like double the fare, right? Just to go back, and your hotel. And he's like, "Sure," because I want the part. You know, we have people like that, you know, and all these people, like I said, you know, I was talking to the guy in Germany, and I said, "You gotta use Keith, you gotta use him in a movie." I said, "He's such a team player." Then they called him up, and they said, "Yeah, you know, we'll use him in the other one," you know, and everybody here was just like.
And I also have to mention Marlo Pignetti Company. I mean,
Yeah.
They're helping with all our post-production, and they came on board as an executive producer, the guy that owns that company, huge fan of hers, and he said, "I'm gonna help out with, you know, what you guys need. I
Yeah.
have your back. I have your back, no matter what it takes.
Yeah.
We're gonna get this done."
Yeah, so, yeah, when it comes out, we're having a premiere in October 5th. We're waiting for the final confirmation, but it's 99% sure. Just waiting for the dotted line to sign at the Paris Hotel. If anybody wants to head out there, tickets will be on sale. It's in conjunction with Black Belt Magazine. Black Belt Magazine is our sponsor. Black Belt Magazine is taken over by George Chung, who is recreating Black Belt Magazine. It's going to go back to hardcover page, and I think June will be their first issue. And they're bringing back the Black Belt Hall of Fame. Black Belt Hall of Fame is the most prestigious Hall of Fame you could be in. It's not like you pay money to get an award or anything. It's like you have to be picked by Black Belt Magazine. And back in the day, that was like, oh my God, Black Belt Magazine, you know, you got in the Hall of Fame. I mean, it was like incredible. So they're bringing that back. So on October 5th in the theater at Paris, it's a 1,200-seat theater. It's beautiful. It's like, it's ultimately amazing. They're going to hold the Black Belt Hall of Fame Awards. Then we're going to have our screening. We're going to have a panel, and then we're going to have a VIP party for everybody after that. And Tickets will go on sale for the whole weekend. They'll have like trade shows, and they'll have seminars, different kind of seminars. Century might be doing their super show there for one day, so it's gonna be a whole weekend of events, and we're glad to be, part of it, because we couldn't ask for a better opening or premiere, and all these people are gonna be there for it too.
And by the
they're
way,
gonna be up with us.
Black Belt Magazine just named Cynthia on the list of
Yeah.
number one most influential woman in martial arts.
Any other questions?
So yeah, you did when you mentioned the Expendables a while ago. That kind of made me. Did Sylvester Stallone ever invite you to be in the Expendables?
Nope.
No.
No.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
heck, if he did, I would be in it.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, no, I don't think I
got
wanna be in that.
I got another idea. There's going to be a sequel to this movie, Black Creek
Right?
2.
Yeah.
Writing Sylvester Stallone apart. So he'll be in your movie.
Well,
Yeah.
it's funny because like people are like, well, why don't you put Jackie Chan in it? I'm
Yeah.
like, Jackie Chan airplane would be more expensive to fly over. And you know what? We kind of made, at first, it started that way, the cast smaller, because we knew we didn't have a bigger budget, and we had so many people, and like, there's so many friends of mine that, I would have loved to put in it, but we couldn't put, we only had like these major leads, right, to go in. So, in the sequel, you'll see a lot more people, that are friends of mine that will be in it.
I got a question. Who are you eyeballing for the sequel?
Well,
Just
I
spit
know,
out a few names.
Well, Keith is definitely gonna be in
Okay.
it. Lauren Avedon, we're
Okay.
talking to about it.
Awesome.
Maybe the Ree brothers, they might be in it. Kurt McKinney,
Okay.
Matthias Hughes.
Okay.
Who else?
We'd like to get maybe Danny Trejo or somebody like that.
Yeah, but, it depends on our budget, what our budget is.
Yeah.
But,
Any Hong Kong people like Samuel Yun Biao besides Jackie?
again,
Budget. It's a budget. It's a matter of flying them in.
I once contacted Corey Yoon. I love Corey Yoon.
Yeah.
He directed a couple films of mine, one of my favorite directors to work with, and he was in town doing a Jet Li movie. And at this time, he wasn't that known, and I was like, ooh. And I was doing, what was that movie called? The one I shot in Puerto Rico. Outside the Law.
Okay.
I was doing Outside the Law, and I was like, oh, maybe I could get Corey Yoon to direct it, right?
Yeah.
So I got through him, I called him up, and I said, oh, I'm doing this movie, and he's like, what's your budget? He goes, no.
Okay.
He goes, no. He goes, my salary is higher than your budget. And I went, just his salary. So that's okay. And he said to me, he goes, why don't you just take all the scenes from Yes, Madam and just copy them and do them over? And I was like, that's not easy. You need that whole Hong Kong stunt team. And we shot Yes, Madam in 8.5 months. I said, that's a little hard. But, if we had like probably a $20 million picture.
Budget,
we
yeah.
could. Yeah. So, but, but the thing of it is that, we honestly, the love that we've had from this little film, it means more to me. And like one of our guys that was in it, Alan Moser, he's in the trailer, right? And he keeps asking me like, when's the trailer, right? And I said, well, you're in the trailer, right? And I said, you're pretty predominant in it. And he goes, when can I see it? So I said to Robert, I said, can we call him and zoom it? And he just started crying. He just literally had tears coming out of his eyes, And he was like, this is my dream come true to do this. And that's, to me, what it's all about. It's not, it's doing a good movie, but just bringing all these people together and doing it, it just feels so good. Like, of course we want to make a lot of money on it, but just, just to help everybody out and to, bring this family together, has been mean more than anything to me, to do it. Yeah.
Cool. I was just gonna say I predict this will be successful. So that's all. Go ahead.
I was hoping you could talk about kind of the collaborative process for creating the fight scenes. I mean, you have all these amazing martial artists working on the film. They all have specialties, and you've also got Mike Moeller, choreographing the action. So I'd really love to hear stories about building those, kind of like the back and forth.
One thing about that. So Mike Moeller, So a lot of his choreography was around that, and so he knew what would be the best kicks, and he, you know, your double tap, you know, and your spin hook or her scorpion kick and those things. So he incorporated a lot of the styles of that, and then speaking to them and working with them. So
Yeah, so I told Mike, like, he knew everybody, and he was just excited to work with everybody in this group. He was a little nervous too, because he's like, oh, gosh, is there gonna be all these egos and stuff, right? So we knew how they fought, how they liked to fight. I know Don Wilson, I know what he likes to do, I know what he doesn't like to do. So I would tell that to Mike, and I'd say, just kind of choreograph something maybe that's a little bit different, you know, that you haven't seen it before. And he sent everybody clips of choreography, and I told everybody, like, you know, keep Vitali. I said, okay, look at this. Is there something in there that's not, you wouldn't be comfortable? Like, yeah, I don't want to fall on my knee. I got a bad knee. Okay, cool. Let's just take it off and let's change it to another move. And we just kind of worked it. You know, we didn't have rehearsal time. It was more people just looking at the footage. And I used Robert, like, okay, pretend you're this person and come back here.
I got beat up a lot.
Yeah. I was like, oh! And I'm like, oh, if your master did that, you would be going, ah, he's hard.
She has no idea. This is like a teddy bear with a box of tire irons inside of it. She is not human. The bones in there are like steel bars. And just if you get hit by anything from this, you will know. It's like a Terminator robot.
It's like a living legend.
Yeah, it's like a fuzzy teddy bear that can kill you.
Yeah, but, so that's kind of how and then when they were going through it, if something, I always feel like, you know, when you're doing choreography, if you don't feel it, you know, just tell the choreographer, let them change it, you know, make it into it work. But I think everybody was pretty happy with what they did. I don't think there's anybody that said, no, I don't want to do it, you know.
And another important piece was the storyboards. So Marlon's storyboards, taking the vision, getting that comic book feel, that graphic novel feel, and the grittiness of that. And we actually used those and went down and we showed to the DP, the director of photography, and say, looking for this type of shot, we want this letterboxed, and they got those shots in the movie, and that's really made a huge difference.
Yeah, and I know next one, it's like, I've always said this, I said, well, if I do my own movie, we are focusing on the fight scenes, you know, all the other stuff is important too. Yes, it is, but we're gonna make sure we have enough time. Sure enough, every fight scene we didn't have enough time. You know, we had to cut some of them short, whatever. So it's like, okay, now I know on the second film, each fight scene is going to have 1 day. We're going to have 20 days or more, whatever, depending on our budget. But, you know, for what we had, I mean, when you see this movie and you see, we have we're figuring it's going to be about 150 minutes. So it's not really short. We shot a lot of footage that it was done in a shorter time. It's crazy, you know? Yeah, crazy.
I think,
No, not 150. It's about
1 hour and 50 minutes.
An hour and 50.
1 hour and 50 minutes. What did I say?
I was just hoping, like, for the next one, that Mike gets to direct some fights, you know, like,
Yeah.
like that's separate from the first. So you could be doing some of your drama scenes, and he can be doing the fights with the other guys at
Yeah.
the same time, where they're far enough away from each other where it doesn't disturb the other
Yeah.
one. Because, you know, like that last night,
Oh, yeah.
that wasn't, we had to wait for each other because we were so
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, there's stuff you can do to, you know, when you're on a limited budget, limited time, and if you get that second unit actually shooting stuff, and the first unit is shooting stuff at the same time.
Yeah.
That's-
We were literally shooting inside the barn and right outside the barn.
Oh.
So you couldn't shoot at the same time because you'd hear this. So they'd have to, okay, hurry up, camera C, go, you know, and then be like, okay, this. So it was like really, really rushed, you know, in that. But it was like close to our last day, and we were behind probably, I don't know how many scenes were we behind. And we had to get them all done. And, you know.
But we ended with 1
Or
hour
else,
spare
we
on the next day.
if I knew we had that hour, we had that hour, we could have used that somewhere else. But you know, it was tough. It was a very, very tough shoot. You know, to get all that in and get what we did. You know, and
On toughness.
Yeah.
I'm from Denver, guys. I was down there on that scene, and it was freezing cold.
It's a cold that I can't even explain. You walk out here and I'm in my bare feet, my sandals. I'm like, woohoo, you know, and I'm down there in the desert. And I'm from Pennsylvania, and I'm down there in the desert. I'm like, this sucks so bad. It was a cold experience. So on that, I hope in part 2 we have a lot more day shoots.
Oh, we will. Yeah, we will. But you know what? When you see the night, you'll go,
Okay.
Really good.
yeah, it does. The night looks really good.
We'll just need
We
more
had one
heaters,
guy
that's
that was
all.
a fighter and he had all this metal in his back. And because it was so cold, it just froze up. He couldn't move.
yeah.
We had to go in and they had to work on, put heat on him and stuff like that. I mean, it was so cold. Our muscles like were really tight. And I ended up kicking Marcus Taylor in the groin twice when I was supposed to kick him up a little higher. And the first time, yes, my leg didn't go up, right? And Marcus is on the ground, right? Going, oh, my stones! And I look at all these guys that are around the ring, and they're all laughing. And I don't know what it is, why, it's funny, but it isn't, but...
It's not.
I was looking at the monitors, and I think, what was
I was there. I was right.
You were there, yeah. And then you said, oh, is that? And I said, yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
He stood there for a second before he fell over.
And then it happened again, because it was like so cold, right? And he was supposed to block and he didn't, and I was just and a second time it happened, I'm like, oh my God. So if we have bloopers, we'll put some of that in, some of the bloopers in there.
But I guess, one of the blessings, there weren't really any major injuries, or just minor,
Yeah.
bumps, some simple stuff. And we did have one incident where there was a pistol whipping and they didn't move in the right spot and actually took the pistol whip full on. That's in the movie, because you can shoot, if you're seeing a punch, typically you'll see over the shoulder, it's starting, and then when it hits, we go to the other side, so the person's not actually get hit, but it looks like they are. This had the cameras on both sides, and we actually got the hit, and it looks, you saw that little clip, and he went, wow, that's, I've never seen.
That's great stuff.
I said that before you told me.
Yeah, it was all
That was a nice pistol.
Wow, that looked real.
And the day everybody is coming to the set, Richard Norton's flying in from Australia, and he said, hey mate, I ripped my calf muscle. And I'm like, oh my God. So he comes in and he can't even walk. And it's like, and it was the third day, him and I had the major ending fight scene. So we had to change it. All of it. We changed it. Well, we went to fourth day instead of the third day. It wasn't much of a change. But we had to put him more rough hitting with the hands and the stick and the staff, because he couldn't, he couldn't.
But you know what?
So if you see him limping a little bit, it's his character now. We're like, okay,
And he has this
He has
scepter,
a-
so it kind of fit, and it actually works with his character that he's got this kind of limp when he comes over to people now, so it looks a little bit more ominous.
Yeah, we have this scene where he's coming down the steps, and we're all there like, we need to redo that take.
That's great.
Yep. Yep.
For your comment, have you used a lot of your fans and stuff to help write it?
To write it?
Or get questions about to answer those?
Well, we co-wrote it.
We have one other writer, so,
and there
yeah.
was- and they did want your character to live, but they got, voted.
Yeah, I was like, no, she has to die, because that's so traumatic, because I wanted to prove it, and it was like, everything was nicey nice, and I was like, no, I don't want nicey nice in this film. I want the villain to be really bad and sadistic, and I love it. I love the way she does. It's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. You'll see.
Yeah, the line producer said, I've never seen anything like that.
From the sick mind of Cynthia Rothrock.
But one of the other interesting things is, we did write in, there's a scene with a scorpion, a tarantula, and a lot of rattlesnakes. And when you're writing this stuff, you're thinking, oh, well, they just bring those rubber snakes in, or they CGI that in later or something, or get some stock footage. And then I see this guy coming, and I'm like, what's that band? And they're like, oh, he's got the snakes. I went, no, he's bringing all, there's 9 rattlesnakes coming. Yeah, he brought real rattlesnakes, and we did not need to put the sound effect in because they were all.
We're gonna go to CGI, but it's funny because when you're doing a movie, you have to pay for every one of those snakes, and you gotta pay for the handler, and you have to pay the scorpion, and you gotta pay for it in the first place. And then you gotta pay for the handler for the dogs.
And the bug guy, so he's like,
Make sure they don't get hurt.
I got this tarantula, and then he's like, what kind of scorpion you want? And I went, you brought more than one? And he's like, yeah, I got a stack of every color and size. And I'm like, well, that one looks pretty nasty. But yeah, all that stuff's real. It was all brought to the set.
So instead of us moving the Black Creek photo op upstairs, we are actually just going to keep it here.
Right here. We're going to keep it easy.
Keep it easy.
And the way that I got it for all you folks who are sitting here in the room, thank you. Digitally, we're going to go ahead and take a picture of whoever wants to make a line, get their photo with it. I will do that digital copy for free. If you want a printed out copy, we'll go ahead and charge you a photo op copy and we'll be done. Good to go? If you want a photo, here's the spot.
So what should we do? Should we just all like stand down here?
Yes, I figure we will try to group as much as possible, and then we're going to do the VIP photo after. Yes, class picture a little bit here.
You got people on the bottom, on the top.
Try to get along.